My name is Sarah Meier-Zimbler, and I'm the Director of Development at the Holyoke Housing Authority.
Matthew Mainville, Executive Director of the Holyoke Housing Authority and a long-term employee. We're happy to announce that we will be having 20 homes for sale in the South Holyoke area around Carlos Vega Park. This is the culmination of what was a very, very long-term planning process that we undertook with the community. It's going to be a mix of rental and home ownership. We're lucky enough now that we have 12 units of rental homes that have been constructed and occupied. We are under construction for the 20 units of modular homes, and they should be completing sometime this fall, with hopefully sales happening over the winter into the summer of next year. Pretty accurate? Okay. So as I said, the Holyoke Housing Authority was lucky enough to have been selected as the developer for the parcels, the vacant parcels around Carlos Vega Park. We have been working on this project for a good number of years now. We undertook the master planning, we had a whole bunch of community meetings, and we came up with what we thought was a great plan that would help that neighborhood. We are going to, for the first time in 20 some odd years, have housing on the four corners of vacant lots around Carlos Vega Park that have been vacant for decades. And so we're excited about having been selected. We're excited about the response we're getting from the community and those folks that live in South Holyoke. There had been many planning processes that had started and never been completed. We are very lucky to have had the opportunity to get money from the state to do all new streets and infrastructure, new lights, and make it a much more pedestrian-friendly neighborhood. And then we followed up with that, and we were able to construct what we think is a very handsome building that houses 12 families, currently speaking. And then to be able to add home ownership is just a feather in our cap. We're very excited about it. We've recognized from our Churchill project, our Hope 6 program, that a mix of home ownership and rental is really the way to make a healthy neighborhood. It does a number of things. It shows investment in the neighborhood, but it also provides a whole number of tools for folks to be able to find housing in this kind of housing crisis that we have in the Commonwealth. We want to make sure that we give people options. We know that one choice doesn't fit everybody's needs. We recognize that homeownership is not necessarily the tool that's going to get folks into housing. So for some people, rentals are the right option, but we also recognize that homeownership is a great thing too. Allows people to build generational wealth. And so it's been successful at Hope 6. We're excited about what it's doing in South Holyoke. We recognize that when we did the work up in the Churchill neighborhood, that our construction actually brought in private investment, and we're looking for the same thing to happen here.
So as Matt has indicated, this has been a many-year process, and while we're very excited to have the homeownership units available right now, there's been a lot that's happened sort of leading up to this. So in 2019, we were awarded the largest MassWorks infrastructure grant from the Commonwealth, and so that enabled us to put in new water lines, upgrade sort of all of the unsexy things that but are really important to be able to build housing. So I think we planted dozens and dozens of street trees. We put in street lighting, new water mains, and all sorts of utility connections. And that was the largest investment that year from the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth has been a fantastic partner, both through Mass Housing and Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. So we're really grateful to our state partners, and we've also received significant money from the city. For our Phase 2 project, we have $3.3 million of ARPA funding, and this project really wouldn't have happened without that. So we're really grateful to the city for that investment too. So yeah, we've been working on this development around Carlos Vega Park, and so the 20 units that are currently in construction, it's on 4 different lots, 3 of the corners of the park and then another lot down the street. And one of the interesting things about this project is that it's built using modular construction. So it's actually built in boxes off-site, and then the boxes are trucked to the site and placed on top of each other, almost like Legos. And we've had a couple really great public events where folks can come and watch the crane put the boxes into place, and it was really amazing. I showed up Monday morning, it was an empty, vacant site, and then by the end of the day on Tuesday, there were 4 full buildings that were placed. So it's really allowed us to speed things up, and it's pretty amazing. You know, I'll hear from folks, oh, I drove by, I saw one in the building, and I'm like, okay, well, drive by now, there's 3 more. So every couple of weeks we've been putting up more. So now 3 of the sites have the modular boxes placed, and there's still 1 more site where boxes will be placed in June. And they are duplex homes. So you'll see there's 10 buildings, but each building is going to be sold to 2 different homeowners. So they're duplex units, and it's not a condo association. You own your parcel from the alleyway to the front. It will be completely fenced in. There's for each unit there's 2 off-street parking spots that you access through the alleyway. There's also a patio and a shed, and then a fully enclosed fenced-in yard. So that's sort of the outside of the buildings, and then you come in. So each unit, there are 3 stories. So each family has 3 stories. There is one fully accessible unit that's completely wheelchair accessible, including kitchens and bathrooms. So one of those units will be sold to someone with accessibility needs, but for the other 19 units, they are 3-story units. On the first floor, you have the kitchen, living room, and you also have a half bath. And it's all 3 or 4 bedroom units. So all 20 units are either 3 or 4 units. The 3 bedrooms have 1 full bath upstairs, and the 4 bedrooms actually have 2 full baths, a full bath on each the second and the third floor. There's brand new appliances, refrigerator, dishwasher, garbage disposal, washer dryer on the second floor. It's all electric, and it's really, really energy efficient. So the idea is that the utility costs will be very low, because it's built to very modern day building codes with lots of insulation, and again, all electric. So that's both heating and cooling. So there is AC throughout all 3 floors. So yeah, we're really excited. Again, these are brand new units, so whoever moves in will be the first occupant of the building, and we think you get really great views of Carlos Vega Park. You can sit on your porch and watch your kids play in the park, and it's really exciting to kind of, when Matt and I started working on this project, it was completely vacant lots, and now you can really see a neighborhood take shape, and it's really exciting to kind of see that. And we've gotten, as Matt said, really great reception. Whenever I'm on site, folks are coming up and asking questions and wanting to know about it, and they've been vacant for many decades, so it feels really good to really reactivate the streets. And so what is available right now, so we're currently accepting applications for the 20 homeownership units. And all of the information on the homeownership units can be found at southholyokehomes.org. So you can actually apply online. There's a link on that website where you can apply. You can review all of the application documents. So I'm going to say a lot of things, but just know that if you go to southholyokehomes.org, you can find all of this information laid out. So in terms of eligibility, it is income restricted. So your income has to be below the stated, it's a HUD calculation of what the area median income. There's actually 2 different income bands at either 80% of the area median income or 100% of the median income. It is a little confusing because the sales prices come in a range. So the 3-bedroom at 80% AMI is selling for $225,000. But then if you're at the 100% AMI, it's selling for $245,000. For the 4-bedroom, if you're on that 80% AMI, it's $240,000 and then $260,000 for the 4-bedroom. So in some ways, this is like, buying a home, and then in other ways, there are a lot of government restrictions and eligibility that's very prescribed, like a lot of other affordable housing programs. So I think the first important thing is that your income, and again, it's for your whole household income, has to be below, and it's based on your household size. And then you do have to be a first-time home buyer. So if you currently own your own home, you would not be eligible. There are asset limits. So I believe if you have over $150,000 in assets, you would not be eligible, although there's some exceptions for retirement accounts, and it is worth kind of reading the fine print there. You do have to put 3% down, so there is down payment requirements, and you do have to attend a first-time homebuyer class. So those are sort of the main eligibility requirements. And then I guess the other piece is that you do have to have a mortgage pre-approval. So you have to have gone to a bank and be approved for the purchase price. And so that is an important component. You actually have to have the mortgage pre-approval to have your application be considered complete.
So one of the things I want to make clear is that we're here to help facilitate people that want to buy a home to buying a home if in fact they meet those criteria that Sarah just laid out. I think what I would highlight as the main issue is making sure that you have some kind of bankable notice from one of your lending institutions. And then we can help you sort through the rest of those detailed, like what income band do you live in? Those types of questions we can answer for you. But if you are interested and you recognize that home ownership is for you, we want to help get you there. And to that end, we also participate with the city in their buyer's assistance program. And so, we can help with those types of dollars. We've also been talking to local lending institutions that might also be able to bring resources to the table to help folks with closing costs and attorney's costs and those types of things. And so we are making this as accessible as we can for folks because we want to see people succeed, right? We recognize that homeownership's not for everybody, but for some it really is, and it's a great gateway for you and your generations to come. And so it's a really exciting opportunity for the Housing Authority to be a partner, but also for folks that might buy. One of the most exciting days, I say this to Sarah, and she'll recognize this soon enough, is that when we're able to turn over keys to a new rental apartment, it's outstanding, and it's really, really exciting when we're able to turn over keys to somebody buying a home for the first time, maybe in the whole generation. And so it's just really exciting that we're able to partner with the city and with the state and lending institutions, and so it's very exciting. Questions, ask us. Go to the website, it's very laid out there for you, but don't be intimidated. That would be my kind of 2 cents. Well, I would say that Sarah's bilingual. The Holyoke Housing Authority has a great number of staff that are bilingual as well. Our first-time homebuyer trainings are in English and in Spanish. Documents are translated, and so we recognize that we want to be open to all communities of the city of Holyoke, and so we try and make sure that every effort is made to ensure, and we actually have partnered up with lending institutions in the past that were bilingual as well, and so we want to make sure that if you come in to see us that you're coming into a welcoming environment, and so those are some of the steps that we've taken for sure.
Yeah, and the application is available in Spanish. We have like a homeownership packet with all the information that's been fully translated in Spanish. The website is fully accessible in Spanish. For our open houses, we have staff that can greet folks in English and Spanish. And then we also will be having some info sessions, and we will provide simultaneous interpretation at all of our events. So we try to do the best we can to make sure at every touch point that we have accessible information in English and Spanish.
Yeah, and all of our community meetings were held with simultaneous translation as well. And I know Sarah had taken an opportunity to go to the local community school and make sure that we were turning over every stone we could and making sure that we communicated in people's native language.
Applications are currently available right now, and there is a deadline of July 11th. And so we're hoping that everyone can work on their all their paperwork. Again, with any questions, please come to the Housing Authority. We'd be more than happy. Email, phone, come in person, any way that works for you. We're really wanting to help with your application. So all the applications that we received by July 11th, those will be entered into a lottery. So we'll hold a lottery on August 6th. And so everyone who applied, and it doesn't matter if you applied yesterday, if you applied tomorrow, anyone who applied within our application deadline will be considered. The lottery will happen, and that's sort of the order that we then review the applications in, because we will need additional paperwork from everyone after the lottery. And so we'll kind of go through that list, and from there then we'll really start the more serious, we'll work with our attorneys and have our purchase and sale agreements and all of that. So again, with the lottery in August, we are hoping to have our first homeowners moving into their house in October. That's the slated time frame right now. So yeah, I think the most important deadline right now is just submit an application before July 11th and come to the Housing Authority with any questions throughout that process. Yes, so there are renderings that are on the website and throughout our social media. We also are going to be hosting open houses, so folks can actually go through some of the buildings. Actually, this Wednesday, May 21st from 5 to 7, we will be having an open house, and we will be doing tours so people can see inside the homes. And we have another scheduled one in June, and I'm sure we'll be adding more open houses. Again, those are listed both on the website and on our Facebook page. So yeah, we, for anyone that's interested, we want you to go and see what it looks like. They're still doing the siding on some of the buildings, so do look at the renderings, because the renderings do show what it will look complete. There is still a good amount of work, but I think because this is modular construction, when you go inside, you really will be amazed how much. It's really everything inside is almost completely done, so you'll get a really good sense of what it'll look like.
I want to just state too that these units are designed with a lot of quality product, durability in mind, energy efficiency. They have heating and cooling, laundry. We really gave a lot of consideration, us and our design team and the contractor. How could we make these really very livable units? How could we make sure that they're low maintenance costs? How do we make sure that energy costs are low? And so we've taken into consideration a lot of that stuff, and these are built with a lot of quality. And so we're excited about the product that we'll be able to show at these open houses.
We'll also be holding an information session. There's 2 information sessions. The first one is going to be next week. So that's Wednesday, May 28th at 6 p.m. That's going to be at El Mercado at 413 Main Street. And we will have Spanish translation for folks. So it is both in person, but if you also want to attend on Zoom, we also have a Zoom link so you can watch from your home. And so whether you want to come out to El Mercado or watch on Zoom, that's also a really
Come in person,
good
we'll
way
have
to.
snacks.
We will have snacks, and yeah, we'll really lay out the process, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions. So anyone that wants to learn more, I really think the info session is a really good time. So we're having one next week, and then we also have another in June.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I am extremely lucky to be in the position I am and be able to work at the Holyoke Housing Authority with such great partners, a great board of commissioners that make all this possible, great staff. It's really an honor to be able to work in a company that really is interested and invested in the success of our neighborhoods, our communities, and our people. And so all in all, it's just been really a pleasure working through this process, but also working with the Holyoke Housing Authority and the City of Holyoke and all of our great elected officials. It's just been really an honor.
Yeah, I think if you talk to folks throughout the state, I think it's unusual to have an affordable housing project that's universally supported, and I think we've been so lucky that from members in the community, all of our local representatives. We had extensive letters of support for all of our applications, and yeah, we're so grateful that we have the level of support that we have for this project. And
one of the things I just want to add to is And so we're also excited about what this means for the city of Holyoke. What was kind of an abandoned neighborhood, or a neighborhood that really had real issues, is now going to be a thriving neighborhood, and we're going to see pieces of property that hadn't been receiving property taxes for a good number of decades now will be livable, vibrant, tax-paying pieces of property. And so we're excited about what it means for the city as well. And so, I think we have a local school there that will be taking advantage of this opportunity for more families to be in the neighborhood, and local schools. And so we're just excited about that partnership and that success as well.
And I think it's also really important to remember that the desire and the need for homeownership was really something that came out of the community. This was something that we didn't go in and say we're going to build homeownership. We went in and said, okay, what does this neighborhood need? What are things that would really make a difference, especially on these vacant lots? And so, we heard from a lot of folks who had grown up in South Holyoke, wanted to buy a house, but it actually, in all of Massachusetts, it's one of the most rental neighborhoods or census tracts, and so there's just so few affordable homeownership opportunities in South Holyoke. And so again, community members who had spent their whole life in South Holyoke, wanted to buy a house there, really didn't have that option and had to move to other neighborhoods to buy a house. And so we really heard this strong need for people who wanted to stay in their own community. And so we really see this as an effort of sort of honoring those desires and say, okay, we know that this exists, and we're going to work to provide these homeownership opportunities. And it took some years. We're not pretending it happened overnight, because unfortunately that's not how it works. But thanks to everyone for staying patient. And it did take a number of years, but we now are able to provide homeownership opportunities in South Holyoke.